This is Jelan Cumberbatch and this is my OMG interview. Good enough. In Trinidad these days, we really preparing for Carnival 2018. Well, all the artists I'm working with. So now everybody just recording, working on music, songs. We have some meetings with publicists, marketing, promotion, videos. Just the whole 2018 Carnival Trinidad is really the main objective for most artists. Soca artists here right now. So that's just right now, that's the planning stages. For those who don't know, I am a manager / booking agent, and I represent artists such as Patrice Roberts, Ola Tunji, Sean Winchester, Mr. Renzo, K-Rich, M1, and a host of other number of acts regionally and locally in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, depending on the client I'm working with, everybody wants something different. So we offer a number of services for different clients. So for instance, for Patrice Roberts, we offer a booking agency, which is we do bookings for her. And then when we leave Trinidad, once I go with her, I am her touring manager. M1 would be us for bookings. And then like somebody like with Milby, who's a producer, it would be more strategizing with marketing for songs or rhythm. So it just depends on who. And then we offer the service that they would want, or we outsource it if we have to. Well, we started off as a management company, right? But because of the amount of talent that we wanted to really focus on and work with, we decided to open up the company and provide different services. So we made it into more service driven. So we have bookings, we have marketing, we have consultation, we have even event management. So we divide it into different components. So JC Management would be the parent company, and then we subdivide it into different categories now. So that's actually the reason why I did it that way, because I saw there was a need. A lot of artists don't necessarily need a manager. A lot of them actually don't know the difference between a manager and a booking agent. So most artists in Trinidad, only the bigger ones, the more established ones would probably need like a manager or like a team. The smaller artists, some of them even just for the season, or some of them, some of the artists that are coming in from regionally would need just a booking agent for Trinidad. And a lot of them didn't have anybody to turn to. And because of the kind of relationships I have with promoters, and of course in this business for a little while, with managing different artists, I developed a lot of relationships. So I decided to open the talent booking agency to provide the services for different clients. And of course, different clients want different things. So we decided to widen it, and then I hired staff, or I would hire people to assist moving the company or assisting the clients and then moving the company forward. The dream of the company really is to be the biggest talent management company in the Caribbean. That's small term dream, and then the big term dream, of course, I want to be one of the biggest, in the world. So to do that, small incremental steps. But so far, we have done well in terms of having high profile clients, in terms of working with best in soca music, Road March, Soca Monarch winners, people who are the best at the business. So it's really a blessing, and it's humbling that they would even give me the opportunity to work with them. People like Sean Winchester, like Patrice and Ola, who would believe or trust me with doing kind of services on behalf of them. Not anybody could come. It depends on once it's in alignment with the vision for the company, because it has to make sense for us and it has to make sense for the client. So once it's in line with what we could do, then we'll be able to have a conversation and see if it's an organizational fit for us and for you all. Because everybody have different types of styles, and it depends on what the client wants, and depends on a number of different factors. So so it depends. I learned a lot of lessons, actually. I can't really pinpoint one particular lesson. One thing that I would say is that never give up. That's one thing I really learned from being in the entertainment business. Because sometimes when you now start, you're trying to get into it, you realize that it's a very difficult uphill battle. Especially when you don't have prior knowledge of the business and you just get in. So you have to learn very quickly, and then people are not going to give you a chance like that. So you have to really prove yourself very quickly and to build trust, because it's more a trusting type of business that I am into in particular. If people don't trust me, then I won't be able to get clients to work with me. So I have to build up that, that ability to trust us, ability to really portray what we're trying to do. So that was one lesson, never give up. The next lesson that I really, that what I would say is professionalism. I learned that along the way, dealing with different international and regional clients. Professionalism is really what sells now. Once you're professional and you do things the right way, then you're more than likely to get repeat business. So it's about being a professional and also being hardworking, assiduous, being serious, taking this as a job and not as a hobby. As a next thing, something that I think I learned, and I would like to state and actually really make an effort and say that again. This is a job, not a hobby. People see it as a hobby, or they treat it as a hobby, and they think it's just like a lime, and they go to a party and drink and go and perform, and it's really not like that. Although it seems that way on social media, but it's something totally different to what you would think it is. It's a very hard-working type of business. You have to be on point. Most of the time, if you're really doing very good in the business, most times you don't even have time to drink, because drinking could slow you down. So you'd have to be really, disciplined in terms of, if you want to be or reach to the pinnacle of a Marshall Montano or a Bungie, Patrice, these people who you would see in the big fets or traveling a lot. It takes a lot of work and dedication and perseverance and obstacles that to get over to really reach to that level. So there's a lot of things that you learn along the way now, but the thing for me, most is really professionalism. Well, I mean that situation, yeah, Bungie really, he really helped, and he just sensed something was wrong. He didn't really know. We entered the elevator, he entered after, and then he's like, hey, John, what happened? And just my demeanor, he's like, something wrong on. So then I tell him, and then he did one of the probably nice things. He made sure that we got that money, or else, and he stood up outside the hotel and waited. When he left, I think Fian came downstairs, they left to go to the mall. They both called to make sure that we got the money, and if you have any problems, he could feel free to call them at any time for anything. Even actually when we went to Germany, the first time Patrice and I went to Germany, Dexter, who works with them, call and say that, any problems, any issues, feel free to call them, message them for any advice. I would say from my experience, they are very, one of the best people I meet in this business now. Bungie really is that kind of solid, real, genuine people I met now. And he's not the only one. Even Kes, the band, Kes Riyadh, who works for Kes as well. Even recently when we were going to Antigua, he was on the plane and he sat next to me, and he was actually giving me advice in terms of, song systems, if with band, how to approach certain things, how I should, he liked what I'm doing, but just little tips he's giving me now. And all the elders in the business showing same thing, black, same thing. People give entertainment a bad rap now, but the older heads, everybody that I have encountered, were very helpful. I were too, always giving advice, willing to talk to you, willing to always help and assist in any way they could. Most of them, it was just Bungie. That time was, I think it shocked me, and I felt a sense of, it's like, yeah, boy, this man didn't have to do this, and he really did that now. So I'll always keep talking about it because, I'm indebted to him now for that. Okay, well, professionalism in terms of my part of the entertainment business would be honoring contracts. If you sign to something, you have to abide by what you sign for. If you promise something to a promoter or to a business client, you stand by your word. If you say that you're going to do a job, you dress the part, you show up on time, you make sure that you do your job to the best of your ability, and you provide the best service you could for your client and for the business and for the promoter or the business entity that hired you or contracting your services. That's what professionalism is to me. So I take very seriously, if somebody book us for a job, I try to follow up with everything. I try to facilitate their every need with contracts, explain what has to be done, and work with people in order to, for them to be happy and for obviously our client to be happy. Because at the end of the day, there's two things, this is one thing I learned too. There's two people you have to really make happy when they're doing business now. You have to make your consumers happy, and you have to make your suppliers happy. So once you fulfill those two, then you're good. Always your consumers and your suppliers. Once they're happy, you're good. So I always keep that in mind to not lose sight of who I have to really make happy now. So in my side of the business, always promoters or business associates or companies, and then of course my clients would be the artists or whoever other client that I have now. So once they both happy, then job done. Actually, I had that in the past where
Start from that. So that's why every client.
Oh, that's why every client wouldn't be already a perfect fit for our organizational culture for our business. Because not every client would understand the level of professionalism that is required to work with us. Even the communication that is required. If you need something, you could call us, and if I'm trying to get onto you, I can't call you today and then you didn't respond for 2 days. That wouldn't work. Or if we send an email for you to check something and they didn't check it in a week or 2 weeks, or we can't get onto you to find out if you're available for a booking or if you're available for an interview, or even if we book an interview, which funny enough we did that right here, people didn't show up, people didn't come on time, people canceled and didn't say anything. So these type of things that happens that's why a lot of clients we have to choose who we're working with and then explain to them what is required for this to work. Because at the end of the day, we only working with what you're giving us. If you're giving us professionalism, you're giving us hard work, you're giving us these things, then it'll make my job easier in order to, if I have to book or sell or promote a song or promote the artist itself or get things done, then it'll make my job much easier. So that's why I'm now getting into the business a couple of years now, I'm very particular on who we work with, on how we come across, or even meeting people. Some people would send an email, and depending on the tone of the email, I might even meet them because it just wouldn't make any sense. I could already tell just from the tone of the email or what they're saying, or even if they send a song or just the presentation, I realize, okay, they're not really a good fit for what we're trying to do. Okay, traveling, touring. First, we could start with Trinidad in terms of the bookings in Trinidad. And then we could go to, the difference between here and abroad. Trinidad bookings, I honestly think is a bit not too professional in how, we deal with things, to be honest. A lot of places, a lot of companies don't require contracts here. A lot of people think you just call and, you just say a price and I think as something that, it's getting better over time. But I think that every transaction should be a contract. So it's very clear and it's outlined what is needed from the artist and what the client wants. It should be clear. So even if something happened, we could go back to the contract and say, okay, this is what was agreed upon, so there wouldn't be an issue. Because sometimes it's just your word against mine, and it should never be that way. So even for Carnival, sometimes Carnival is such a fast-paced thing. Sometimes somebody might call and just go to a gig, pay. Nah. I prefer that we do things every event via contracts, via email, no money via hand. A lot of things that's happened too. I don't know, we got to stop that too, because internationally, the difference now internationally, nothing is done without a contract. Nobody is moving without a contract. Promoters not agreeing to anything once a contract is not signed. A down payment must be made, or else nothing could happen. When you reach the country, the contracts are enforced, which is a contract and a rider. So even riders, a lot of people don't have riders or don't enforce riders in Trinidad and Tobago, which is a next thing that only certain artists do, but I think it should be across the board, where people should enforce riders. A rider is really a list of things that the artist would need in order to perform at the best of their ability. So it would be a room, a towel, some water, a mirror, and it could vary depending on who the artist, who they are, what stature or level they are at, or what the artist would want. So these things are little things that people, I think we should really enforce in Trinidad and Tobago. Internationally now, the first thing most people call for is contracts, riders, immediately. That's the first thing. Once they're asking, they're sending that, they go through it, then they either agree, disagree, you'd make amendments to contracts, then you sign, then they pay, and then you could go on, transactions. So touring, the essence of touring. So we have, obviously, we tour regionally, and then we have international bookings, right? I really tour with Patrice Roberts. I am her touring manager for the last 3-4 years now. So with that, of course, a lot of lessons are learned doing tour, because there's no book telling you, okay, this is how it's supposed to go, or this is what you're supposed to do. So every country, you're dealing with different people with different backgrounds, sometimes different language, sometimes even different culture. So when you go there, you have to, me as a manager, I have to be very understanding and have to be able to adapt to certain situations to deal with people, because some of them, we don't know them, or it's a different culture to us, so it's a little different to deal with them, or sometimes some of them can't even talk English that well, so you have to be a little more patient and understanding. So touring is really, it's a very difficult thing. I know on Instagram and on Facebook, you see Patrice or Ola or Marsha put a picture of we in Bahamas, any beach in Lyman, and that is actually 1% of what really happens when they have a show. Most of the time, when that you don't see is that as you reach in the country, you have interviews immediately. Sometimes you go in the hotel, you change, you do an interview, then you have rehearsals. Then you have to make sure you have to have meetings to discuss, okay, this is what we want to do. You might have to change the set depending on the country. Then when you go to the radio station, sometimes what songs are popular in Trinidad is not popular in a different country. So you have to do research. So that's the job of either the musical director, the DJ, or the manager, or the artist. So you all have to start to pay attention to what's playing on radio, or start to have conversations with other people who from the country, hey, this is what's happening, this is what they like here, they don't like this, they like this. So you always have to tailor, the set to whatever country you're going to. And then obviously you want to pay homage to the country. You want to make sure that you always mention the country in terms of highlighting a particular artist, or a particular song that's very popular in the country, or a particular dance. For instance, in Belize, they have something called the punta. So that is their rendition of what a wine is, what we call a wine in Trinidad, is punta over there. So you'd have to really go there, talk to them, here, okay, this is what we do, and then apply it to performances, which actually, enhances people's performances, and then you learn, and it kind of broaden your horizon in terms of, enhancing the performance, the artist, and then the likability to the country. I still think the OMG moment is the first time that Brian Lara called. I think that, it happened so many years ago, but I think that because of that in particular, when he called, I was like, is Brian Lara for real, boy? Like, I called back, I was like, this is who? Brian Lara, yeah, and just having a conversation with him, getting to know him, doing business, booking artists for his shows, and just having a rapport with him. I think that was shocking, because I was managing Ola at the time, and Ola and all was surprised. Now, it was a very surprising thing to both of us, that he would even, he would call, and and then he would be so down to it now. You'd never think, for some reason you have this perception of people, that they would be a certain way now, and he is as normal as they come now. So I think that's our OMG moment. First, I want to thank, nothing is possible without a strong team. So I think I want to highlight that as well. Because sometimes when you see me, but I am just not working by myself. I have assistants, I have other managers, and I have a good team, even web developers, graphic artists, drivers. It takes a lot to make something tick and for it to work now. So I want to firstly thank, my team, and I want to say they are a great team for us to even to be reaching this far to the kind of people that we working with now. And I want to really say that most of my success really come from them. Without them, I couldn't, I wouldn't have time to do this. Even listen to advice from them is something that I think, everybody should have a good team around them, working with them to enhance what you're trying to do, because you really need that support. Even friends, you need a support system in this thing now. I have friends that I grew up with, Nicholas Banks, Christopher, a lot of people who I just grew up with that were really, Nikita, who were there for me, even if times were hard, because not every time it was, you're getting to travel to St. Martin, or you're getting to go to Germany or London. And it wasn't always that way. It was sometimes, you're working very hard, you're not seeing the reward. Sometimes money a little tight. Sometimes, you're thinking, I wonder if this even makes sense now. Besides the team, I want to, also give a lot of credit to the great clients that I have now. Patrice, Ola, Sherwin, and even, somebody come on board, Kevin Little. Even everybody, K-Rich, Mill Beats, LaShawn, everybody who is working with us in any kind of capacity. You know, they have been fantastic. They have been great clients. And without them, we couldn't do our job, and we couldn't even, you know, doing what we're doing now. So obviously, you know, hats off to them for working with us, believing, trusting in us and our ability to execute what they wanted. And without them too, you know, especially essentially without them, you know, we really wouldn't be able to even do this job or have a job at all now. So I want to give, you know, all the credit and everything to those artists and, you know, producers, everybody who with us. I want to thank everybody for watching my OMG interview, and you can find us on, you can visit our website, that's www.jcmanagement.co, or my personal website, jelancumberbatch.com.